So wherever you choose to be, just allow your eyes to close or your eye gaze to soften down towards the floor. In those first few breaths, just be completely aware of every single part, all the way from the beginning, the journey through your body, and then all the way until the end. As you breathe in, notice the expanse in space in your ribs. When you let it go, feel all the tension in your body just leave, making the next inhalation even more spacious and free. Taking 10 more breaths, trying to stay focused on the breath's journey, the feeling, the moment. At the end of your 10 breaths, and there's no rush if you're still going, bring a little bit of movement back into the body. If you're seated, make your way down onto your back. We're going to begin with a few rolls with the hips side to side, placing the feet and the inner thighs together. Shoulders anchor to the floor. Keeping the inner edge of the feet glued together to help keep the lower body move as a solid unit. If you want that little extra, lift the knees higher over the hips and the feet off the floor. Lower your legs all the way down to the floor and roll completely onto one side. Doesn't matter what side you do. Take hold of the top ankle with the top hand for the quad stretch. Gently squeeze the heel towards the bum. And slide the knee further back from the hip. Gently release. Rolling back to the centre of the same leg, cross the ankle above the opposite knee. And then we're going to sit up, place the hands behind the back, and press the chest in towards the inner edge of the leg. And just make this feel really good in your hips. Equal placement on your sit bones. Maybe walking the hands in, maybe bringing the bum closer to the foot, or even just giving yourself more space if your hips feel really feeling it. Just taking 2 more breaths here, lift the chest, walk it in as you exhale. And extend the legs out in front of you. Walk your hands back until you feel the stretch through the shoulder. You can choose here to have the neck bend. You can even lift the hips and slide them further away to make it that little bit more intense for you. Making sure every part of your hand is pressing down. So thumbs, fingertips. There's a little space underneath the centre of the palm and underneath the knuckles. And just roll the chest up a little. Two more breaths. Maybe slipping like I am, naturally getting a little bit lower. Then walk the feet in, shuffle the hands in, doing whatever order feels natural for you to do so. And then we're going to cross the other ankle over the top of the opposite knee. So make sure this is the other side. Glute stretch. Again, play around with that balance between the two sides. Draw the belly in. Stiffen the muscles that surround your spine. And then find that height all the way along the back of the body to the crown of the head. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing the chest forwards. Gently back off. Lower yourself down onto the floor, roll over onto your side. Top ankle, top hand, quad stretch. So again, make sure this is the opposite side to the one you've done before. If you feel any irritation through the kneecap, try and loosen the angle of the knee. So let the foot come further away from the bum. That's when you might need to use a strap. Try and keep your hips stacked over one another. So it may feel like you need to push your top hip forwards more as you slide the knee behind your hip bone. Gently release. You're going to roll over onto your front. You might just shoot it back over onto your mat. You're going to take one arm out to the side, hand level with the side of your chest. Then roll over onto that arm. Head can rest on the floor or lift it if it feels better. If you want more, bend the knee of the top leg, slide the foot round. You can even catch hold of it with the top hand and create a quad stretch again. It's entirely up to you. You can make it what you want. But breathe sideways into the ribs. So you're expanding, getting wider on the inhale. Creating that freedom through the torso. Rolling away from the ground to increase that shoulder stretch. Gently release. Rolling back onto the front, change over to the other side. Taking the arm long along the ground, using the other arm to create assistance to roll away. Bend the top knee if you wish to. Slide the foot round so the foot can tap down any way you wish. Create an opening through the top hip. Or add in quad stretch too. Find the edge. Gently release. Rolling back onto your front. We're going to repeat that on the other side. However, rather than straighten the arm, although you can choose to do this if you wish, you can challenge yourself by creating a wider reach with the elbow, creating a 90-degree bend at that elbow. Maybe playing around with positioning until you target your chest. Top leg is optional here because it makes it harder to rotate. And you may definitely need the support of the other arm. Pressing away from the ground. Two more breaths here. And roll back onto your front. Changing sides. Again, creating that 90-degree angle at the elbow. Pressing down to the inner edge of the whole of that arm. But rolling the chest away from the floor. Top leg bends, slides behind it if you wish, but you do not have to. Again, you may need to change the height of your elbow or slide it further away from your chest to target the area of tightness for you. Gently release. Rolling back onto your front, sliding your hands level with your chest, pushing yourself up onto hands and knees. Upward cat, downward cat. I'm just spinning around so I get that view of you. Breathing in, open the chest. Breathing out, around the back, around the tailbone. Moving between the two with your breath. Maybe stopping to pause the breath for a moment. And hold the body still as you do. Just get really into the edge. Make your way into downward dog. Take the hands a little further forwards to widen the stance. Lift the hips. Soften the knees. Make sure your back is long. So choose to bend the knees more if it's hard to lengthen the lower back. Pedal the feet up and down. Pressing heel right down, checking your knee stays in line with the center of the foot as you go. Inhale to plank. Exhale, knees or toes, lower your chest halfway down. Inhale, hips down, cobra, so shoulders squeeze back. Pause it there for a second, lift your belly away from the floor, and then lift your hands off the floor to activate your back. Oh, if you can't hold it, you've gone too high. See some of you sinking. Reaching down through the tops of the feet, squeeze the mid-back. Hands down, then lift away from the floor if you wish to. Upward dog, exhale, downward dog. Step or jump your feet to your hands as you breathe in. As you breathe out, forward fold. Knees soften as much as you need. Roll up to stand as you inhale. At the top, as you exhale, take your hands behind the back of your neck. Squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chest. Inhale, lift the arms overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Step or jump back to plank as you breathe in. As you breathe out, lower. Keep your body stiff as you move. Inhale, cobra, so hips down. Pull the belly away from the floor. Melt your shoulder or squeeze your shoulders back and almost together. See if you lift your hands off the floor. If your belly starts to press into the floor, see if you can squeeze your whole waist in and lengthen the sternum forwards. Yeah, hands down. Upward dog if you wish. And then into downward dog. Step or jump feet to hands as you breathe in. Folding as you breathe out. Rising to stand on the inhale. Hands behind the back of the neck as you exhale. Elbows in. Breathing in, lift the arms overhead. Breathing out, hinge over and fold. Weight to the center of the feet. Step or jump back to plank. Exhaling to lower. Retract the shoulder blades, control your descent. Inhale, hips down. Shoulders back, belly in. Lengthen your rib cage, cobra. Hold it there as you exhale. Inhaling, take the fingers away from the floor if you can. Nice, keep your neck long. Hands down, upward dog if you wish. Feel the strength in your shoulders, push the ground down. Downward dog on the exhale. As you push back, feel your shoulders roll in a little. Step or jump feet to hands on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Push the knees out as you come closer. Inhale, rise. Exhale into the gentle back bend here. Slide your tailbone down. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge, back long and fold. Step or jump back to plank on the inhale. Squeeze the thighs from your kneecaps to stabilize the hips as you lower in your exhale. Inhale, cobra. Yeah. Fingers lightly lift from the floor. Keep breathing. Nice, hands down, lift to upward dog. Notice the difference. Now squeeze your bum, push the tops of the feet down and lift your thighs from your kneecaps. Make it feel powerful. Down the dog, that looks amazing. Step or jump feet to hands on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Push down through the feet, lengthen the sides. Exhale, hands behind the back. Lift the chest higher. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhaling, come down to fold. Plank on the inhale. Exhale, lower. Nice. Inhale, cobra. Tighten the waist, make your core feel just as strong as your back. Slide your tailbone down towards the heels. Notice how that lifts your torso a little bit more. Upward dog. Nice, pull the chest forwards, pull the shoulders back. Downward dog on the exhale. Press down through the thumbs, the second finger. Is that the index finger? All right, from here. The leg that's furthest away from the screen. So we're going to be facing three edges of your mat, by the way. The two short edges and the longest edge closest to the screen. The one, your leg furthest away is going to lift for three-legged dog. Draw the belly in here. At the top, bend the knee, open the hip. Step the foot between the hands to lunge. So help it forwards if you need. Drop the back knee to the floor. And we're just going to spend just a couple of breaths here. You can relax this foot if you want to. So let it feel like your stance is quite wide. If it feels too narrow, maybe not letting yourself go as deep as you could go. I'm going to walk around to the long edge of your mat, so I'm going to close the front of your mat. As you do, you're going to extend your leg out. That makes sense. So if you're in a lunge, your bent knee is going to be your long leg. Sit your hips back. If it feels like your hips are uncomfortable here, just be a bit higher. And then you can still just push your tailbone back and get that deep stretch in the inner thigh and hamstring. Coming up into gate pose. Nice, hips forwards, lengthen both sides. Now keeping your foot pressing down into the floor, right down into the outer edge. Swap the arms over. Reach all the way to the other side, so you're making yourself as long as you possibly can. We're going to go back the way we came. Swap the arms over. Nice, try and roll the top of the hip in of the long leg. Hands to the floor, slide the hips back. Walking the hands in, turn back the way you came, so the way the long leg, lunge. Lift the back knee off the floor, legs wide, come round to the centre, wide-legged forward fold. Turn the toes forwards or slightly in. Butt cheeks spread wide. Relax the neck, relax the crown of the head. You can always be in a flat back anytime you wish. Okay, walking to the opposite end of your mat. When you're there, step back to plank and lower. Upward dog or cobra on the inhale. Exhale, downward dog. From there, the leg furthest away from your screen. So the back of your mat, lift for three-legged dog. As you lift, draw the belly in. Bend the knee at the top, open the hip wide. Step the foot forwards between the hands to lunge. Stack the knee over the ankle. Drop the back knee to the floor. Relax the foot. Wiggle around into your hips. Walking around to the front of your mat. As you do, the leg that's behind you scribbles round. Straighten out the leg that was just bent. Good, good. So just make sure it's the opposite leg to before. One side may feel completely different to the other. So play around with the placement of your hips. Sometimes you have to pull one of the hip bones back a little bit more for it to feel like it's even, and to feel that spacious sensation in the inner thigh and the front of the hip. Coming up into gate pose. Pushing down through the shin, the whole of the foot, just keeping the hips square, side bending over the leg. Nice. Give your shoulders and neck some space. So it doesn't matter how wide you have your arm, it doesn't have to be in a certain position. Just find length in your side. Changing arms to the other way, stacking hand under the shoulder, not letting the other leg lift, but finding that anchoring through the shin, through the top of the foot. And when we do, notice how we can lengthen more. You may even notice the hip flexor of the knee under the hip. All depends on what your body needs. Changing sides, pushing away from the floor, coming back into gate. Spreading the ribcage wide. Nice, hands to the ground, slide your hips back. Again, doesn't have to be low, you can keep it high. Search for feeling, maybe notice it behind or just above the back of your knee. Coming up, walking back to the short edge of your mat to lunge, lift the knee this time. And then walk around to the wide edge of your mat, forward fold, wide legged. If you've got short legs, you might have to walk your feet in. Keep your weight over the middle of the foot. You can really change how you feel the length in the back of your leg. Walking to the opposite side, short edge of the mat, so the way you originally were. Step back to plank when you're there. Elbows bend lower towards the floor. Inhale. Upward dog, exhale. Downward dog. All right, this time we're going to flow the same way, just a little quicker. Back leg lifts on the inhale, three-legged dog. Bend the knee at the top, open the hip. Activate your inner thighs to steady your pelvis. Step the foot between the hand to lunge as you inhale. As you exhale, press down through the back leg, drag your hips forwards. Inhale, turn to the long edge of the mat, slide the bent leg out longer, hips back as you exhale. Gate on the inhale. Exhale, melt into the side bend. Inhale, windmill the arms over, anchor down into the floor. Push your hips and the side of the waist up to give you more length. Changing the arms back over as you inhale, pull the belly in. Exhale. Inhale, hands down. Hips back, exhale, press the chest down. Inhale, come up. This time, hands to floor, lift the hips, step the other leg wide. Exhale, forward fold. Face the opposite short edge of your mat as you inhale. Exhale, step back to plank and lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Push the ground away firmly. The leg at the back of the room. Back of your mat lifts for three-legged dog. Keep reaching through your arms. Bend the knee, open the hip. Step the foot forwards to lunge on the inhale. Knee down as you exhale. Spread and deepen. Inhale, walk round to the long edge of the mat. Straighten the bent leg out. Exhale, hips back. Gates on the inhale. Power through the back of the body. Exhale into the side bend. Inhale, arms windmill over the other way. Press down into the floor, lift the side of the waist as you exhale. Feel amazing. Inhale, back to gate. Exhale, hands down, hips back. Press down through the outer back corner of the heel. Slide the hands in, push away from the floor, lift the hips, step wide. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Walking to the other short edge of your mat. So the first side originally, step back to plank and lower as you exhale. Inhale, upward dog, exhale, downward dog. Back leg rises on the inhale, three-legged dog. Bend the knee at the top, open the hip. Step the foot forwards to lunge on the inhale. Awesome. This time, drop the back knee. As you exhale, you're going to lift the ball of the foot, pivot on the hip and twist towards the left side, lounging lizard. As you inhale, lift your arm up overhead, reach it over ear, and then push your hip away from the floor into a side plank if you wish, or keep the bottom knee on the floor. So choices here, knee on the floor, knee off the floor. Turning back to the short edge of your mat, walking round to the middle, wide-legged fold. Turn to the opposite short edge of your mat. I'm going to call it side B from now on. Step back to plank and lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Back leg rises on the inhale. Lift the leg out of the hip. Bend the knee. Bring the foot towards the opposite butt cheek, knee to the ceiling. Step the foot between the hands to lunge. Drop the knee to the floor. Lift the ball of the foot, pivot on the heel, turn it a quarter turn out, lounging lizard. Take another breath in. Nice. Try to sink into the shoulder. Push away from that bottom arm. Then lifting, hips away from the floor, either keeping the knee down or lift the knee. Make it into a side plank here if you wish to. Or just enjoy that stretch of the arm of your ear and the length in the side. Awesome. Hands to floor. Turning back to the short edge of your mat. Round to the long edge of your mat, turn the toes in, wide-legged fold. Turn back to side A, to lunge, step back to plank, and lower. Yay, I love that you're all following this. Inhale into your back bend, exhaling, downward dog. So we're going to do the same one again. Back leg rises on the inhale. Bend the knee, open the hip as you exhale. Hold your rib cage tight. Step the foot forwards between the hands. As you inhale, knee down. Relax the foot. Turn. Pivot in on the ball of the foot as you exhale. Maybe just pulling that top hip back a little further. Feeling that in the outer hip. Either stay and just lift the arm or lift the hips off the floor. Arm over ear, side plank, screw the bottom hand into the floor. Push the waist and the hips up. Also bring your hand down to the floor, coming through lunge to wide-legged fold. Soften the knees here. But if it feels good, tuck your chin, walk your hands back through the legs a little further. Turning to side B, lunge. Stepping back to plank and lower as you exhale. Inhaling, upwards dog, exhaling. Downward dog, back leg straight from there, lifts on the inhale. Knee bends on the exhale, open the hip. Step forward to lunge, breathe in, knee down as you breathe out. Pivot, turn the toes, a quarter turn, lounging lizard. Take the time just to find that deep outer hip stretch. Maybe you feel it in the side of the torso as well. Side plank on the inhale. If you're going with a long leg, flex the foot. Press into the outer edge of that foot. Squeeze the thigh from the kneecap. Now here, everyone, everything you've got in contact with the floor, push it down, and then notice how your hips and your torso lift. Reach the arm a little bit further, and then bring it all the way down to the floor. Turn to lunge. Walking round to the long edge of the mat. Turn the toes forwards, forward fold, wide. So let the butt cheeks separate a little bit more by rolling onto the outer edge of the foot, but not so much that the inner edge of the foot lifts. Walk back to side A. Step back into plank and flow. Nicely done, everyone. Inhale into the back bend, exhaling down the dog. Back leg rises on the inhale, three-legged dog. Bend the knee at the top, open the hip. Step the foot forwards to lunge on the inhale. Drop the back knee or keep it lifted as you exhale. Take another breath in. If you're keeping the knee lifted, push out the heel. Walking round to the long edge of the mat. Drop the knee first. Come back into the inner thigh, hamstring stretch. Gate pose as you inhale. Feel connected into the hips. So you're always trying to pull the hips wide. Feel your glute active on the long leg. Windmill the arm over. And that beautiful long length. This time, you're going to stay facing side B. You're going to spin the bottom leg round and come into swan. Yeah. Now here, if that feels too much for your hips, just drop the bum to the side. Feel free to bend that knee if you wish. Now here, have your hands just a little bit wider than your shoulders. If you can square the hips a little bit more, do so. Try reaching all the way down to the top of that back foot. So almost just like you did in the cobra. Then lift the chest almost up into an upward cat. Then roll the shoulders in, spread the elbows wide and come down to your hands stay in the same place. Inhaling again, sternum leads the way, lift the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. Exhale, tuck the chin round through the spine. Spread the elbows so you can come straight down. Feel the back active here. Inhaling, push the elbows in, push the hands down, lift the chest. Exhaling, rolling back down, rounding the upper back, creating that space. Awesome, coming back up. Tuck the back toes. This time, you're going to slide your front leg, the one underneath you, to your hand, into lunge. Then lounging lizard, drop the knee to the floor, pivot around to the back of the mat, rock the hips back, find that nice feeling, side plank, or just lift the arm and feel the space in your side. This time, if you want to play, so you're, I'm going to call it long leg and bent leg, so everyone can identify those from the position you're in. If your knee is on the floor, that's counted as the long leg. Knee down floor option first. You're going to take the bent leg round, pivot the hips to the ceiling, come into a baby wild thing, or long leg option, or an off the knee option. Leg comes over, come onto the ball of that foot, hips up to the ceiling, wild thing. Rotate out from that bottom shoulder, squeeze the bum, press the hip up. Turning back to your mat, plank. If you want to rest, child's pose. If not, flow. Inhale, here, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Everyone downward dog. Back leg rises on the inhale, three-legged dog. Bend the knee at the top, open the hip. Step the foot forwards between the hands, lunge. Knee up or knee down, your choice. Drop the knee to the ground if it's up. Walk around to the long edge of the mat. Slide the bent leg out long, down to side B. Slide your hips back. Got your concentration face again there, John. Gate pose on the inhale, come up. Side bend over. Exhale. Inhale, wings of the arms. Press down into the floor. And then this time, the leg closest to side A. You're going to pivot that one round, turn the hips, come down into swan. Just take a few breaths again, make any adjustments that you need. Find that active back leg. So you can squeeze it on, squeeze the thigh from the kneecap, push down through the top of the foot. Notice how that gives you really nice extension. Hands slightly wider than the shoulders. Inhale, lift the chest like your upward dog or upward cat. Then tuck the chin around the shoulders. Spread the elbows, come down. Inhale, screw the hands into the floor as you lift up. Lift the chin if it feels good. Exhale, tuck the chin and roll down. Roll the elbows out. Give yourself space. Feel like the back active. Inhale and push away from the floor to get that fluid spine movement. Exhaling around. Keep the belly tight as you go. Inhaling, last one. And stay up here. Ready for that transition, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, step the foot forward to lunge, again adjust it as you need. Lounging lizard, so knee down, pivot, quarter turn, nestle the outer part of the hips. Lift the arm, inhaling, lift the hips into side plank. Exhale, squeeze the waist in, push it up. Then your options to play. Wild thing. Feel free to drop the knee first. Slide the foot around. Pivot the hips. Lift and open, wild thing. Extend the leg if you wish. Or from full plank position, full side plank position, take the foot behind, lift off of the ball of the foot. Take length in every limb. Turn back to the floor. Plank. Awesome work. Gently lower down. Inhale into your back bend. This time exhale. Child's pose. In your child's pose, slide your left arm underneath the right arm. But don't twist here. Keep your shoulders and your head square to the floor. And just feel the stretch through the outer shoulder. Unravel. Swap the arms over. Again, just try and keep your hips still. Pull the shoulder down low enough so your neck isn't hunched, so your shoulders aren't hunched. Unravel. Turn yourself over. Laying down on your back. Hug the knees into the chest. And then roll over onto one side completely. You're going to take the bottom leg back, so cat's tail. Find the foot with the opposite hand. And find that quad stretch there. So you go and squeeze the heel to the bum or kick the foot into the hand. Then other leg, you can bend the knee or straighten the leg. Bring both shoulders to the floor. So this is where a cushion can come in handy. If one of your shoulders is lifting quite away from the floor, put cushion underneath so you've got something to press on. Then you can hold any part of the leg that you wish. You can hold the knee. So it's opposite hand to opposite foot or leg. Taking one more breath here. And then transition into the other side. So just letting go of where you're holding. Bring the legs in. As you turn over onto the other side, first get the bottom leg into position. Find the foot with the opposite hand, or use something to hold your foot a little closer. Adjust it, find that extension through the hip, stretching the quad. Then adjust your other leg, bend the knee or straighten it. Then melt the shoulders down towards the floor. Doesn't matter how much you need to adjust your pose to feel good. But the most important thing is to make it feel good. Taking 2 more breaths. And gently unraveling. Making your way into a comfortable position where your spine can feel long, where your hips can feel open. Where you can feel supported. Where you feel like you can just let go. Allow the exhalation to linger. Taking 5 more deep breaths. Counting if you can. And then slowly bring awareness back into your physical body. Making some gentle movements to your fingers, to your toes. Doing anything that your body needs. And then in your own time, in your own way, sit yourself back up.